This video, I'm going to take you through how I plan my practices. All right. Now this is based on, I'm going to show you two practice plans. This first one's based on when we're going 5 days a week, all right, early on in the season. And then the second one is how we structure our practices during 3 days a week when the kids start school. All right. Now, before I get going into this, obviously you could adjust this to fit your team's needs. Say you need to work more on offense or you're installing a new defense, so you need to work more on defense. You could adjust. This is kind of just a starting point, kind of just like framework, and then you kind of go from there. Because what's worked for me and how I structured this doesn't mean that's how you need to for your team. Okay, but I think it's a great starting point, and a lot of you guys ask me, hey, what's your practice plans? Can you do some content on that? And we haven't really done much content on practice planning, particularly lately. So, here we go with this video. All right, we basically theme our days. All right, Monday will be offense, Tuesday defense, Wednesday offense, defense, and then we'll do a team day where we'll do our team sessions, pretty much everything. We'll do special teams, defense, offense. Now, it's important that I say in my league, we don't have kickoffs or kick returns. All right, the league that my town plays in, they don't have special teams. Okay, so the special teams for us, we spend a lot less time on it because the only kicking game we have to work on is really just our extra point and then extra point block. So those are kind of the special teams things we have to work on, so we don't have to spend a lot of time on it. You may have to up the amount of time you're spending on this. Again, it depends on your team. All right, but yeah, we'll have an offense focused and then an defense focused day. We'll always do a little bit of offense, always do at least a little bit of defense. All right, we never skip a day. All right, because we want to practice offense, we want to practice defense. So an offensive focused day, all right, and pretty much we do the pursuit drill and we do dynamic warm-ups for the same amount of time pretty much every day, regardless if the day's an offense or defense or a team day. All right, so we're going to dynamic warm-up, and these are based on 2-hour practices. Okay, we get two hours. So the times for Monday is on the left, Tuesday times, Wednesday times, Thursday, how long they're going to go, Friday, how long they're all right. Dynamic warm-ups, 5 to 8 minutes. Just do high knees, kickouts. We're just moving. It's an active warm-up, right? Nothing static. We're not going to spend more than 8 minutes warming up. It's just, in my opinion, it's just a waste of time. All right, so we're going to get a nice dynamic warm-up in. Then we're going to go into our pursuit drill. This applies every single day. We'll do our dynamic warm-ups every single practice. We'll do our pursuit drill every single practice. All right, so we'll do our pursuit drill. Now, what do we do in our pursuit drill is we practice our alignment, our assignment, and attacking. It's a great drill because we're able to work some of our conditioning in too. Not only we're working the 3 A's of defense, alignment, assignment, attack, we're not just developing that mentality of running to the football, swarming the ball carrier. We're not just working taking the proper pursuit paths as we're swarming the ball carrier, which is important. You can't just run to them. Have to pursue the ball carrier with the proper pursuit path. But it also helps us with conditioning. We're sprinting full speed. Even the group that's not in, they're chopping their feet and they're running on the whistle. So everyone's moving in our pursuit drill. So it's a big part of our conditioning. All right, so we'll do the pursuit drill for about 20 minutes. It takes a little bit longer in the beginning because we're kind of teaching on the fly. The kids are still trying to really get comfortable with how intense and how fast we want this. So sometimes we stop with a lot of yelling and stuff, but it goes about 20 minutes. Once we get good at it and the kids know what we're doing, it's much faster, and we could probably shave 5 minutes off. We'll do it for 15. And then after that, we'll get a water break, and then we'll go in the offense. Now, what are we doing in the offense? All right. I'm not going to go too much depth into the drills, but I'm just going to show you what we do. In the offense, for our skilled guys, our running backs and receivers go with our running backs and receivers coach. All right, they're going to work on ball security is the first drill they're going to do. They're going to work on agility, which is cone drills, which also implements ball security, keeping that wrist above elbow. And then they'll go on the line mat, and we'll practice our plays on there. And a line mat is just like a mat, mat or fire hose a lot of coaches use, back in the day. It's like a mat, and it has the lineman positions on it, so the kids could line up properly in regards to the proper backfield splits. But they'll run our plays on air. Coach will snap the ball. Sometimes we'll take a center and bring them over. But when we go indie, our O-line, we're going to work on breaking our huddle, or if we're no huddle, we'll just get to the line. We'll work on getting our splits, getting down, and boom, firing out on our snap count. A lot of our individual periods, it's a big part of our conditioning too. Like we're not gonna just do like ball security. We're gonna work in running with the ball. We're always gonna kill multiple birds with one stone. So we're gonna fire out, and the kids are gonna sprint for 10 yards. We're gonna turn around and do it again. Then we're gonna kind of do the fire out sprints that we're doing, but we're gonna do run it through blocking schemes. Like we'll practice our buck blocking scheme. We'll practice when we come back the other way. We'll practice our counter blocking scheme. We'll practice our trap or wedge, or both if we run both, because sometimes we do. And then during the season, it'll be more specific to our opponent. Preseason, we're just learning, going through our rules and staying on our tracks. All right, and then the third drill in Indy for the linemen will be pass blocking. All right, and then after individual offense, we go water break, and then we go team offense. All right, when we go team, we're going to do plays against the defense. We're going to line the defense up. If it's during the season, it'll be against the defense we're seeing. But during the preseason, we kind of just mix up between odd and even fronts. All right, and then so we'll practice our plays in team. We'll practice a lot of situational football too. Towards the end of our team session, we'll practice hurry up offense. It's another great way to condition your players. And, just practicing how to spike the ball, how to line up fast. So we work on our hurry up offense, what we call it short time offense. All right, not a lot of time left. So you got to practice situational football, and we do a lot of the days. All right, and then we'll work on extra points. Basically just kicking the ball and getting 2 every time we score. Because when we score and get the extra point attempt, or we get 2 if you kick, so we want 8 every time we score. So we work a lot on our blocking for our extra points, our snap, hold, and kick, which is the most important thing. All right, and then on Wednesdays, I'm sorry, this is Tuesday. Back on Tuesday, we'll go dynamic warm-up, pursuit drill, water break, defensive Indy. Now, I didn't break down what we do in defensive Indy, but I'll tell you right now, our defensive linemen, they're working get-offs, right? They're lining up. Coach is snapping the ball. They're working on firing off shotgun and shed, and then firing off. And then after that, they're going to do our anchor drill on the sled. Basically, it's just shocking and shedding on the sled, just being real physical because we don't want to shock those deep offensive linemen. Then anchor our gap, then pursue. So we shed off the 3-man sled. Coach points to a direction, they shed off, and then they run flat down the line towards the coach. And then we'll do a little bit of pass rushing as the third part of defensive Indy. Now for our linebackers, we'll work on shock and shed. We'll do our linebacker pursuit drill, so we're taking the proper first steps and then run fits. And then we'll also bring over the defensive backs, and we'll do zone drops. And we'll practice pass coverage. Okay, if you're man coverage, practice man coverage. Our defensive backs will do some agility work. They'll work on tracking the ball. All right, do the W drill, the wave drill, things like that. And then they'll work on zone drops, covering different route concepts. All right, our secondary will be our 2 corners and safeties. So they're going to work on staying. We're a big cover 3 team, so we'll work on staying in our zones. And then basically just zone drop a lot too. And then they'll also do the vice tackling drill. And we will tackle a little bit with our linebackers and Indy defense too. It'll be fast. We'll use a tackle wheel. We'll shock the block or rip under for pursuing inside to out, and then we'll tackle the tackle wheel. And then we'll bring the DBs will also do the vice tackling drill. So practices how to maintain, outside leverage. And then the second part of defensive Indy will work with the linebackers, and we'll do the zone drops, like I said. And then team defense will install any blitzes. Okay, we'll practice how we want to blitz, when we want to blitz. We'll practice our alignments, our assignment, and attacking. And then we'll do some zone coverage, and then we'll obviously set up a scout offense if it's during the season, and then practice against that. So just working our blitzes, our stunts, our coverages, our alignments, things like that. Then you get a water break, and then we're going to do our turnover circuit. All right, so we usually do our turnover circuit 2 to 3 days a week. Sometimes we'll do it 4 days a week. We'll just work on punching the ball out, uppercutting the ball out, and then ripping the ball out as the second man in, and kind of tackling through the ball, because we're trying to get 3 turnovers a game. Then after that, we give them a water break. This is a very high tempo drill. All right, so we get them a water break, and then we'll end with sprints. We'll just do a couple of sprints. Now offense, okay, back on the offense focus day, a lot of this is the same. And again, you could make adjustments if you need more time in Indy just to work on the fundamentals, the stances, the splits. Take 5 or 10 minutes from team offense and put it into Indy. So you need to adjust where you need to adjust, right? All right, so we'll do offensive Indy, which are these drills. Then we got water break, team offense, water. Then we'll do kicking game. Okay, I put special teams in for you guys. If you got kickoff or kick return, you have to practice those. All right, and then you get water break, and then we'll do play sprints. Play sprints are basically, it's our offense out there on air, and we're running through our plays, and we're sprinting for 15 yards into the end zone. So it's sprints. We're sprinting while practicing our plays. So we're sprinting, but also repping our plays. So we're killing two birds with one stone, and then we work two groups, and the groups constantly switch. All right. Thursday, defensive focus, dynamic warm-up, pursuit drill, water break, team tackle. All right, we'll kind of, a lot of times we'll tackle in our individual when we're in defensive Indy. They'll do form tackling or tackle the one-man sled or a dummy when they're broken up with their position coaches. But one day a week, we will bring our whole team together. We'll kind of do 2v2 tackling, all right, and then things like that. So we'll tackle for a little bit. This is the day we kind of go live. So if it's during the season, sometimes we team tackle earlier in the week so we don't bang these kids up too much. But during this time of the week, we're still 5 days, we'll usually do it Thursday. So team tackle, then with water, we'll do the turnover circuit again. Punch, uppercut, second man in rep. Team defense, like I said, practice alignment, assignment, attack, pass coverage, blitzes, stunts, things like that. And then we'll get a water break. And then we'll do zone drops. We'll basically do our pursuit drill, but throwing the ball. Because we want our kids to run to the football, not just on run plays. If the pass is thrown, boom, to the boundary deep third. I don't care. My defensive linemen still need to run that way. So what we'll do is we'll practice our zone drops and our man coverage. We'll throw the ball up. Everyone will run to the ball. Our defender will pick it off. Then the whole team turns and runs for a touchdown. Okay, so we get our conditioning like that. So instead of just doing like sprints, we're practicing things, right? We're practicing zone drops. We're practicing, turnovers, getting interceptions, running to the ball, turning, and then once we pick it off, we want to score a touchdown. So, we're practicing those things. All right. So that's what we'll do for our conditioning. And then on Friday is team day. We'll do all team stuff. We won't really do much individual. If we really need extra work, we will do an individual for offense or defense session. Okay. We will swap out team D. We'll do Indy defense or something like that. Like it depends. Again, you guys could adjust this. If you need more work in a particular area, adjust this. Friday, we go team day with dynamic warm-up, pursuit drill. We go team offense against the defense, water. We go team defense against the scout offense, practicing all the things I just talked about. Water, we'll do our kicking game. Water, and then we'll do some kind of fun conditioning like relay races, whatever, things like that. So, long story short here, basically when we're 5 days a week, we're doing 2 days that are more so focused on offense. We're doing 2 days that are more so focused on defense. And then we're doing 1 day where we're doing everything. So that's basically it in a nutshell. Okay, guys, here's how we structure our practices for when we go 3 days a week. Again, it's 2-hour practices. Time does vary. Sometimes we're done a little early. Sometimes we go 5 minutes later. It really depends. All right, and nothing really changes here. If we need to make adjustments in areas we're lacking or behind in, we will commit more time to that, take time from stuff we're doing well, and commit that extra time to things we need to improve upon. So again, adjust it to your team skill set. When we go 3 days a week, we'll have 1 day that's focused on offense, more so, 1 day that's focused on defense, more so, and then the third day will be more team. So we'll do everything, but in like team settings. So Tuesday, we'll do our offensive focus. Again, we're going to dynamic warm-up. We're going to pursuit drill, water, in the offense. I'm going to do everything I said before, except it will be more geared towards our opponent. Because when you're 3 days a week, your season started, right? So, we're more game plan and opponent oriented. Like when we're in our offensive Indy, we'll do our fire out drill. But when we're practicing our blocking schemes, we'll more so practice it against what we're going to see from film. Okay, we don't 100% practice it against that because maybe they come out in something different. We want to practice our rules and get comfortable with knowing our blocking rules and blocking paths, regardless of how the defense is aligned. But we will hammer home what we think we're gonna see. So we will tailor it towards our opponents and what they do. So we'll do indie offense, water, team offense, special teams, water, then play sprints. Tuesday, defensive focus day, just like what we did when we're 5 days a week. Let me center these two. All right, defensive dynamic warm-up, pursuit drill, team tackle. Okay, this is the day we'll hit a little bit. Sometimes we will switch the day. Sometimes we'll do defense on Tuesday, offense on Thursday. When we go 3 days a week, we practice Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever your practice schedule is. It doesn't matter. But just do one offensive focus day, one defensive focus day, and then one team day where you do a little bit of everything. So team tackle, turnover circuit, team defense, water, zone drops, run, dynamic warm-up, pursuit drill, team offense, water, team defense, water, special teams, water, and then we'll do something fun at the end of practice, like relay races, other things like a sprinting game we play. Whatever the head coaches or the kids want to do, we'll go ahead and do that. I have this as a PDF. It's a practice plan. Let me see if I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's very simple. I print a bunch of them out. I write the practice plan. I send it to my coaches. If you want, you could write it digitally on a PDF too. If you're able to do that, but I print it out and handwrite it and give it to my coaches. But I write it and make copies. But if you're interested in my practice plan template, it's very simple. It's awesome. Shoot me an email, youthfootballonline@gmail.com, and I'll send that to you. Yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I think this is a great way for you to structure your practices.